Welcome to the podcast discussion on race, class, and gender in education. Today, we're diving right into how these factors shape equal educational opportunities.
I'm all set. What does equal educational opportunity really mean in this context?
Well, it's about ensuring that every child, regardless of race, class, or gender, has access to quality education. It's also about recognizing that our educational systems often mirror the inequalities in society.
I see. So it's not just about access, it's about the quality and the context of how education is delivered.
Exactly. It's like a multi-layered process, you know? The ideas here delve into how notions of equality or inequality are experienced in daily school life, influenced by socialization, family, and even the media.
That's interesting. So when we talk about socialization, are we referring to the way kids learn about gender roles from the get-go?
Yes, indeed. From birth, kids get lots of cues, like the color-coded blankets, toys tailored for boys versus girls, and even early childhood books start teaching them what it means to be male or female. It's all part of
Yeah.
sex role socialization.
So in school, those early lessons are further reinforced by teachers and textbooks, right?
Absolutely. The school environment plays a crucial role. Teachers might, without even realizing it, praise boys for assertiveness while telling girls to be more, gentle or neat. This kind of hidden curriculum reinforces stereotypes.
Right, and I imagine that links closely with how textbooks often portray male characters in heroic roles and female characters in a more passive way.
Exactly. It's like every little detail counts, from the stories in books to, say, the types of activities encouraged in class. That's where gender norms really get cemented.
Now, beyond gender, the discussions also involve race and social class. How do these factors come into play in education?
Good point. The content clearly shows that differences in social class, race, and even ethnicity can greatly affect educational outcomes. For example, schools in poorer neighborhoods or those with a high proportion of minority students often have fewer resources.
Yep, and studies like the Coleman Report really brought that to light, didn't they?
Absolutely. The Coleman Report, along with later studies, revealed that achievement is closely tied to students' socioeconomic backgrounds. Essentially, spending more on schools doesn't always equate to better outcomes if the underlying family and neighborhood circumstances aren't addressed.
So it seems like the solution partly involves integrating disadvantaged students into environments with better resources.
Right? And that's why measures such as increased teacher training, introducing gender fair curricula, and specific programs to encourage girls in STEM are suggested. It's not just about moving kids, it's about fundamentally rethinking how education can serve all groups.
But, it's not just girls facing issues. In some regions, boys are dropping out because they don't see enough value in staying in an environment that doesn't speak to them.
Exactly, that's a critical point. In parts of Latin America and Central Europe, for instance, boys face challenges different from those typically discussed in gender equality initiatives. It becomes a question of which group is being left behind.
So it's really an intertwined challenge. Gender roles, social class, and race all mixed together, affecting self-esteem and long-term educational success.
Yep, and it's like the hidden curriculum keeps reinforcing these roles long after a child's first steps. In the classroom, beyond what's in the textbooks, implicit messages shape how kids see themselves and their abilities.
Hidden curriculum, that's a powerful concept. I'm curious, could you elaborate a little more on that?
Sure thing. Think of it as the subtle lessons learned from teacher behavior, classroom dynamics, and even school policies. They might praise girls for being orderly and boys for being outspoken, which in turn shapes their intellectual self-concept and
Right.
future choices. It's a daily reinforcement of gender and class assumptions.
And then there's literature and media playing their parts too, right? The media often features stereotypical portrayals which feed into these social expectations.
Exactly. Movies, cartoons, and even children's books amplify these stereotypes. They often depict males as the heroes and females in need of rescue, which can skew the aspirations of children in subtle ways.
So, to break these cycles, what kind of measures are suggested?
Well, suggestions include gender-fair textbooks, teacher training on unconscious bias, and developing curricula that actively challenge traditional roles. Plus, there's a call for programs that boost self-esteem, especially for girls, to counter the negative impacts of these stereotypes.
That sounds promising. And does any of this tie into the broader international efforts like Education for All?
Definitely. Education for All, or EFA, emerged as a major global goal to ensure not just access, but quality, inclusive education for every child. It set targets from early childhood care to eliminating gender disparities in primary and secondary education.
Exactly.
Even though progress is visible, challenges persist.
Right. Despite improvements, reports say millions of children are still out of school, and inequities continue, especially among the poorest communities.
Yep, around 58 million children globally are out of school, and many more don't complete primary education. It underlines that while efforts have been made, the journey toward true equality in education is far from over.
And it's striking how these issues intersect. The same children facing gender bias often battle against the consequences of poverty and racial discrimination too.
Absolutely. It's a convergence of factors that can restrict life chances. The content really challenges us to question if schools really provide equal opportunities, given that so much depends on a child's background.
Which really makes you wonder, are our schools designed to empower or to replicate societal inequalities?
That's a great question. The discussion critiques that schools often mirror societal norms rather than challenging them. For true progress, educators need to re-examine what the purpose of education is, beyond just transmitting knowledge, to truly empower every learner.
I can see that. So, any final thoughts on how educators and policymakers should move forward?
Well, educators should advocate for curriculum reforms that highlight diversity, provide anti-bias training, and adjust teaching methods to be more inclusive. Policy-wise, there's a need for better funding structures that don't just add resources, but actively bridge gaps in family background and community support.
It sounds like a real systemic overhaul is necessary, not just quick fixes.
Exactly. Achieving true equality in education requires rethinking long-standing practices, confronting societal stereotypes, and fostering new models of behavior that promote equity in every classroom.
And that, ultimately, means challenging traditions that have been around for centuries. It's a tough task, but a necessary one for a fair future.
Absolutely. It's about being willing to change those practices, even if they're deeply rooted, so that every child can truly have a shot at success.
Well, this conversation definitely gives us a lot to ponder. Thanks for breaking it down so clearly.
Thank you. And here's hoping that by re-examining these issues, we move closer to an educational system that truly stands for equality.
Till next time, keep questioning and pushing for that change.